Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity, back for another video. I said on my last video, 5 players that Norwich City should be selling. If we hit 500 likes on that, I would release my 5 players I think Norwich City should be doing everything in their power to keep. You guys smashed the like rating on that. We're nearly 1,000 on that, so we're bringing that back today. I've got a video idea in my head that I think could get really tasty. It's my tier listing of player reviews from this season. If we hit 500 likes on this video, I'll drop that in the next couple of days. I think it could be a good one. Thank you for all of the recent support. Let's get into this video. 5 players I think Norwich City needs to be keeping. We'll start with Angus Gunn. I think Angus was very unlucky not to get into the top 3 for the players of the season. I think there were brilliant spells from Sarah, McLean, and also Max. I think Angus has been one of the most consistent performers this season. The reason I think we need to keep Angus is I think for a long-term vision, Angus fits perfectly into that. He's now a full international, played plenty of football for us last season, and I think just needs regular first team number 1 football. I think Angus is good enough to be a goalkeeper in the Premier League. I think his opportunity previously in the Premier League was unfortunate, and I think if he were to go back there, he would be more than suitable. I see all of his attributes being good enough to operate in that division, but for that reason, I think Norwich City need to be doing everything in their power to keep him. He is a top draw goalkeeper, I would say, last season, one of, if not the best in the division. Countless times he saved us from defeat, kept us in winning positions many times, made sure that we picked up points here and there. He is a commanding goalkeeper, only going to get better, and I wouldn't think of another goalkeeper we could pick up in our budget better than Angus. For that reason, we need to keep him. Now, we all know that Norwich City need to try and make some money this summer. We have very few sellable assets. The next one I think Norwich City need to be keeping is one of those that has been linked with moves elsewhere. That's Big Andy, Andrew Omobamidele. He has featured plenty this season. He has been made captain during the time where Hanley and McLean and Gibson were all injured. He is still very young. The remarkable thing with Andy is how many times he's played for Norwich City considering his age. Now, I think towards the back end of last season, his performances levels dropped slightly. I think he needs someone next to him with a bit of experience, with a bit of, nous about him. And he didn't have that. He had a player next to him in Jakob Sorensen who isn't a centre-back, isn't experienced, and I think he was exploited because of that. In terms of physical attributes, Big Andy is one of the very best in the country, I would say. He's quick, he's strong, he's tall, he's very Ben Godfrey-like in his makeup and his body, kind of the way he moves. I'd say he's not quite at Ben Godfrey levels yet. I think there's inexperience in the way that he positions himself, and there's certain moments where you go, we should have defended that better, and I think Big Andy's been at fault for that. But in terms of raw potential, I think he's one of the very best in our squad, and I think he could do with another season at Championship level. I'm sure that he's going to go on to bigger and better things than Norwich City, but not only for his career development, but for the good of Norwich City. I think it would be very wise to keep hold of him. Another season, plenty of football, next to an experienced centre-back, and I think he's on to a good thing. And for Norwich's sake as well, it could be really big. We need to keep Big Andy. Now, the next one should be obvious, but I'm not sure it is. Bali Mumba enters the list, the EFL Young Player of the Season. He was phenomenal at Plymouth. Plymouth, of course, winning League One. A remarkable campaign for them, a remarkable campaign for Bali. At just 21 years of age, he's already picked up 2 EFL winners' medals with Norwich and Plymouth. And you cast your mind back to 2020, 2021, when we won the league under Daniel Farker behind closed doors. Bali only played a few times in that, but I just remember the cameos he made. I think he played 5-6 times, and going, wow, this player is already so mature and advanced. And it looks as if Max Aarons will be moved on this summer. This is the perfect opportunity for Bali to step up a division. He was playing League One football last season, step up into the Championship, kind of operating in more of an advanced role. And I think that will really suit David Wagner. What we saw particularly in the early stages of Wagner at Norwich City, was getting his wing-backs high up the pitch, delivering crosses. It looks like we're going to be bringing Ashley Barnes into the side. He really favours being on the end of crosses. Bali could be on the end of that. So not only am I looking at Bali going, you're a phenomenal player with so much potential, I'm looking at going, he actually really suits our style of football, the way that we want to play, and that feels really exciting. I think out of any player in this entire squad, this is the man I'm most excited about. Whether we keep him is another matter. They may look at him and go, his value has probably never been higher. We need cash. We can get in a cheaper replacement. I don't think we need to be doing that. If we want to set out a precedent next season of hopefully knocking on the door of the top 6, these are the types of players we need to keep. Bali Mumba, keep him at Colney. I think if there's one player I would be saddest about to see leave this summer, that would be Gabriel Sara. He has that ability to change a game like no other in this current squad. We know how much Emi Buendia had it. We've had it with players like James Maddison in the past. Sara's not on that level. I don't think he's anywhere near to the levels of Emi Buendia yet, but you do see glimpses where you go, okay, that's the type of ability that can change games. And we did see it on a couple of occasions, particularly around that time he scored that phenomenal goal at Millwall. He can score goals, he can create goals, and more often than not last season, we saw him grow into a role that could orchestrate and dictate the tempo of a game. And I think that's what we really missed. I'm looking at Sara as a man that we should be hoping to build a squad around. Whether we keep him or not, it looks probably unlikely. I would love to see us keep him. But again, he's one of the few very sellable assets we've got. We could probably make money on him. A move abroad would probably suit him really well. I just look at Sara and go, it'd be such a shame if we only got to see a fairly stagnated season from him. I think there's so much more to come from Sara, and I think we should be looking to keep him. Potentially this last one could be the most controversial of them all. It's Josh Sargent. And look, I was really critical of Josh when we brought him in. He was brought in to play Premier League football. He didn't cut the mustard. He looked a long way off it. I saw a different man in Josh Sargent in the Championship. I saw a man that could score different types of goals. His work ethic was second to none. His ability to track back and defend was excellent. And if you're looking for a bloke to score you 20 goals a season, if played regularly in his preferred position, which for me is the number 9, Josh Sargent can do that. I think his potential is really exciting. Physically, he's good. He looked good in the air. He can hold a ball up. He can get in behind. And that really excites me. Now, we're limited in striking options at time of recording. We've basically only got Sargent and Ida. It looks very likely that Ashley Barnes will come in, and I suspect there'll be another one as well. But for those players that are currently in the building or expected to be in the building soon, I'd probably have Sargent as the number 1. Sargent and Ida aren't wingers. They need to be played through the middle. And I think if Sargent were to be played there regularly, he will be one of the Championship's leading strikers next season. I think in terms of the budget we've got, with the capabilities we've got, we're not going to get better than Ida at the moment. And that's not even a backhanded compliment. I think on his day, Sargent is a really exciting player at this level. So I'd be looking to keep him in. There we go then. There's my 5 players that I think Norwich City should be keeping. I'd love to hear yours. I read through all of the comments on the last video and there were some brilliant suggestions. So let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I'd love to see it down in the comments. And remember, if this video hits 500 likes, I'm going to be doing my tier listing of my Norwich City ratings for the individual players this season. There could be some interesting ones in there. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.